Facts Verse presents Jokes by Stephen Hawking that still make us laugh. The passing of Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was one of the most intelligent men to ever live. He has done a great deal with his life despite the fact that he was diagnosed with a degenerative motor neuron disease in 1963. Sadly, he passed away on March 14, 2018. According to Hawking, part of the reason that he was able to survive is through his sense of humor. There are plenty of ways that he was able to make us laugh through his life thanks to the jokes by Stephen Hawking that still make us laugh. The time Stephen Hawking met John Oliver. When Stephen Hawking met John Oliver, he had a question for him. He asked, "You stated that you believe that there could be an infinite number of parallel universes. Does that mean that there's a universe out there where I'm smarter than you?" Hawking responded, "Yes, there's also a universe where you are funny." His sense of humor was quick and amazing. The time when Stephen Hawking met Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's one of the funniest comedians of all time. What he didn't realize when he first met Hawking is that, well, Hawking's pretty funny himself. In this photo, you can see that Hawking rolled over Carrey's foot with his wheelchair. Rather than hurrying to get off, he stayed in the same place and laughed. Jim Carrey met his comedic match that day. Sheldon meets Stephen Hawking on The Big Bang Theory. Stephen Hawking appeared on an episode of The Big Bang Theory. In the episode, Sheldon gave Hawking a paper to look at. After some funny back and forth between the two, Hawking pointed out that Sheldon had made an arithmetic mistake and called Sheldon a boner. Although Hawking was talking using his computer's voice program, it was still hilarious. The time Stephen Hawking organized a time traveler's party. Stephen Hawking created a funny video about a party that he was going to be holding for time travelers. He created an invitation with the exact date and time of the party along with the coordinates. He had food and champagne ready. When the time for the party came, though, nobody came through the door. He said that he was disappointed and that he was hoping that the future Miss Universe would have shown up. His ability to combine his sense of humor and his scientific beliefs was fantastic. The incredible interview with John Oliver on Last Week Tonight. The interview started out with Oliver congratulating Hawking for being the first guest on the show. Oliver went on to mention that it was difficult to tell if Hawking was being sarcastic due to the computer voice that he uses. Next, Hawking began talking about his theory on imaginary time. He said that it is one of Hawking's theories that science fiction writers haven't used because they don't understand it. Oliver went on to call these writers idiots. The two went on to debate whether or not artificial intelligence could take over the world, and Hawking's quick wit was hysterical. Star Trek Stephen Hawking. This video is a skit with Stephen Hawking, Sir Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, and a character from Star Trek all playing poker. When Sir Isaac Newton claimed to have invented physics, Hawking called him out. When Hawking raises the pot $50, everyone folds except for Albert Einstein. Hawking wins the hand and laughs. At the end of the skit, all the men, except for the man from Star Trek, disappear. Homer Simpson having a beer with Stephen Hawking. Like many famous people, Stephen Hawking was on an episode of The Simpsons. In the scene, he was at a bar drinking with Homer, and they discussed Homer's ideas of a donut-shaped universe. When the bartender came over to collect the money for the tab, Homer talked like a computer and said that he would pay. He was hoping the bartender would think that Hawking offered. Instead, Hawking punched him in the face. Stephen Hawking does stand-up comedy. Stephen Hawking tried his hand at stand-up comedy, and he was amazing. He joked about the fact that he speaks through a computer. One of his jokes was that he can finally get an erection because the doctors finally disabled his pop-up blockers. You have to watch the video to see how truly funny this man was. Jim Carrey and Stephen Hawking on Late Night with Conan O'Brien. On an episode of Late Night with Conan O'Brien, Stephen Hawking called Jim Carrey, who was a guest. The two talked a bit, and Hawking told Carrey that he had to go because he was watching Dumb and Dumber. The two went back saying, "You're better. No, you're better. No, you're better." Carrey said that it was like doing a bit with Albert Einstein. Stephen Hawking shared his thoughts on Brexit. When Stephen Hawking was on a British awards show, he made a joke about Brexit. He said not to ask him for help because he couldn't understand it either. Stephen Hawking's new voice, Comic Relief Originals. For years, Stephen Hawking has used the same voice. In the video, he says that he's trying to find a new voice. A variety of actors came on the screen offering to let him use their voices. The video is absolutely hilarious. All actors were making fun of each other, and Simon Cowell, Liam Neeson, Rebel Wilson, among others, tried out. The best, though, was Miss Piggy. You have to see it to truly get the humor. Stephen Hawking being a jerk on The Simpsons. There have been many scenes on The Simpsons where Stephen Hawking treats the characters horribly. He even plays a DJ. This is one of the best Stephen Hawking montages available online. Check out the video, you'll see how funny he really was. Stephen Hawking doing a Little Britain comic relief sketch. In this sketch, Stephen Hawking is being pushed around by a slow man who thinks that he's a child. Hawking thinks the man is a moron. When the man tells him that if he's good that he can watch the cartoon Peppa Pig, Hawking tells him to piss off. Stephen Hawking faces off with Paul Rudd in a chess match featuring Keanu Reeves. In this skit, Paul Rudd calls Hawking on the phone. Hawking doesn't even know who Rudd is at first. Paul claims that he's gone to the quantum realm, and the two argue back and forth with Hawking making fun of Rudd for playing Ant-Man in the movie. When Rudd starts practicing, he realizes that he is going to lose, so he studies. The game is close, but Rudd remembers a scene from Ant-Man and has an idea. There are also Bill and Ted references. You have to watch the video and see who wins. Stephen Hawking on One Direction. Hawking is asked by a student what Zayn leaving One Direction means to the world. He said that finally he was asked a question about something important. He stated that in a parallel universe, Zayn could still be in the group. The video's hilarious. We lost a great scientist, a great mind, and a great comedian. Farewell, Stephen Hawking. We'll see you on the other side. Or in a parallel universe. Subscribe for more.